Welcome back to our YouTube channel.
We have done the first skull, that is the skull of set induction, and now you are able to introduce the lesson skillfully to the students. After the set induction or after the introducing the lesson to the students, we have to explain that concept to the students. So the next is the skill of explaining. As a teacher, you have to learn the skill of explaining in order to make the students to understand them the principles and the knowledge of any concept that needs the explanation. So explanation is nothing but we can say it's interrelated appropriate statements that a teacher is using while explaining the things, while making the students to understand the things. So explaining is, or the skill of explanation, it's an art that you have to learn that how to use the interrelated or appropriate statements so that you can make your students to understand any concept or any principle. We say that to make any concept or any principle tangible for the students, to make them clear that concept, we need to explain them that concept, right? So we say that it's the heart of the teaching learning process. So in explanation, we are using only the verbal skulls, and those verbal skulls we have to choose appropriately. We can say that the selection of the appropriate statements we have to do, and it's the skill that by which helps us to interrelate the one statement to the another statement. So as a teacher, you have to keep in mind two things while explaining, that is the selection of the appropriate and the relevant statement according to the age level, according to the maturity level, according to the previous knowledge of the students of that very particular concept or the content. And second thing you have to keep in mind that how skillfully you are interrelating or you are using the selected statements that makes them to understand that concept properly. You might be knowing that we are using three types of statements while explaining the concept. One is like we say the descriptive statements. Another is like we say the interpretive statements. We interpret the things. And another is like we give some reasons to support any concept. So these three types of statements you have to use in a logical order, right? So in this skull we are having the some components or some behavior that the student teacher has to show while demonstrating this skull. So the very first component is the beginning statement. How appropriately you are using the opening statement of the explaining. The opening statement is here. It is the announcement of the topic. How well you have announced the topic in the previous skull, that is the set induction. So you have introduced the topic to the students. That is the beginning statement for the explaining. That's the base statement that what you are going to explain, right? So the next is that is the explaining the links. We can say that how skillfully we are using the explaining links. we have some these words, or like we say that so this concept is related to that, and we are having word therefore this may lead to this, or hence proved, like in mathematics we use, or we sometimes say thus we can say this will lead to this. So these are the words which we can use in explaining the links between our days. And after that we are having one more component, that is covering the essential points, or we can say it leads to the completeness, whether our lecture or our explanation is complete or not. Our explanation should be complete in every aspect. So that means our explaining should cover the important points of that very content or that very topic. Now, another component, that is the concluding statement. We say in concluding statement, that is the summary, sum up, how well you sum up the explanation, how well you summarize the explanation, that is the concluding statement of your explanation. So another component that we use in explanation is questions that we ask or to the students, so that understand whether our students have understood this concept or not. For example, we test our students by asking them some questions. How properly you ask the questions to the students. Another is the fluency. So the teacher has to use the uninterrupted statements while explaining the things. The teacher should be fluent enough to explain the things, should not be the short of words while explaining the things. And another is the continuity. There should not be some breaks, or there should not be the missing links while explaining the things to the students. And another is the relevance in the statements. The statement are using while explaining, those should not be confusing statements for the students. Those should be the relevant statements for the students. And then we are having that the one should be having the appropriate vocabulary. I mean to say that the vocabulary which is known to that age group which you are going to teach, those you have not to use the vague words or the vague phrases while explaining the things. You have not to use those words which those students cannot understand. So we have these are the desirable behaviors, we can say, that a student teacher can use in this skill of explanation. Now I will show you a model lesson plan, how you have to make a lesson of this micro skill. The first, like in the set induction I have shown you, these are the activities which you are going to do while explaining the things to the students. And there will be the activities what the students are doing while you are explaining, and which component like you have used. For example, we can say the beginning statement, or there will be the summarization or concluding statement, right? So in between there will be like we can say where you have used it. So therefore, hence, that is the linking these statements. Or you can use that this is the testing statement for the students when you are asking the questions, right? So these are the components which we can say we use. And now there is the observation schedule or the rating scale for this skill. First we are using the components of the behavior, and then we give the tally marks, how many times this behavior has been shown by the teacher, and then accordingly we give the rating of that scale. And one more thing, we are calculating the average rating of the skill by summing up the tallies, and we divide them by the number of components. Let me recapitulate or let me summarize here that we are having 8 components in cycle of explaining. In among these 8 components, we are having 4 components. Those are the desirable behaviors that the people teacher will can show in the classroom, and 4 components are undesirable behaviors that the people teacher cannot show in the classroom. So what are the desirable behaviors? Let me tell you. Desirable behaviors comprised in this skull are: first, the beginning. We say the beginning and the concluding or the end statement, right? How appropriately he uses this. Second is how he is using the explaining links, like how he is using the so therefore like words. And third is the coverage of the explaining. We say how much he covers the important points. And the fourth desirable is the testing. You can test the students knowledge or students understanding. These are the 4 components which we can say these are the desirable behaviors. Now we are having the undesirable behaviors which the people teacher should not show in the classroom situation in front of the students, or he can show it but to the lesser content. So undesirable behaviors that a teacher should minimize in the classroom. First is use of irrelevant statements, like we can say confusing statements. Second is lack of continuity, like we are having some breaks or we are having some missing links in our statements while explaining the things. Third is lack of fluency, like we are lack of words while explaining the things. Fourth is inappropriate vocabulary. We can say the words which are not understood by the students, or the phrases which are not understood by the students. So you have to avoid this kind of behavior in your classroom situation. So make sure that you have to use the desirable behavior in your classrooms, and the desirable behavior covers the use of beginning or opening statement, and the concluding statement, explaining the links, and how much then this is the response sheet or the observation schedule that you can make while using this. In explaining, there will be the opening statement, that is the beginning of the explanation, or we can say this is the announcement or the last step in the set induction. Then we are having the explaining the links, we explain in continuity, right? And then we are having the concluding statement or the end statement or the summarization. And then after summarization we have the testing. So this is the main thing what we follow in explanation. I hope you have got the skill of explanation and how you have to use this skill in your classroom. So there are the 8 components in this skill. 4 are the desirable components and the 4 are the undesirable components. This is all about the skill of explanation. Thank you.
If you like this video, don't forget to give the thumbs up to this video. Share this video with other students so that the student community get benefited from this video. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get the new notifications of our videos. Thank you very much. God bless you.